Hey guys, it's Will here and I'm back to bring you another 40k Batrep. Changing things up a little bit tonight though, not bringing the Eldar, I'm bringing out the Scythes of the Emperor, my mostly Primaris Space Marine army. And we're going up against their classic foe, the Tyranids of Hive Kraken. So yeah, that's going to be cool, you know, taking on my old nemesis, and commanding them will be my old nemesis, Sam. He's going to be using the Hive Kraken. He's been trying to get a bit better with his Tyranids lately, but this is the first time I've used the Scythes for quite a while, so forgive me if I'm rusty, not just on my tactics but also on some of the names of the Primaris units tend to slip my mind in the heat of battle. But yeah, doing 2,000 points, Maelstrom of War, Scythes of the Emperor versus Hive Kraken. So here's my 2,000 point Scythes of the Emperor list, using Ultramarine chapter tactics to represent these guys, and it's just a single battalion. So down here got my three characters, my general who is just a Primaris captain in Gravis armour, and that scythe conversion there just counts as his normal power weapon. He's going to have the Sanctic Halo as his item, which I think could be really handy against these nids. And then for his Warlord trait, got the Ultramarine one that allows me to buy back command points. Then I've got Primaris Apothecary, first time using him, and a Primaris Lieutenant with a Power Sword. Then rounding out my elites along with the Apothecary, I've got a pair of Dreadnoughts, a Venerable one with Twin Las Cannons and Missile Launcher, and a Redemptor on the sort of the full Dakka build. So we've got the Storm Bolters in there, the Underslung Gatler, the Gatler on the arm, all the dice. For troops, I've got 5 troops choices tonight, starting up with 4 5-man intercessor squads, 5 guys in each of these, and they've all just got the standard bolters. These are the starter set miniatures, but I did manage to convert one up with a power sword as well, and I have paid the points for that. And then got 5-man tactical squad, Melter and Combi Melter on there, and they're riding in a Razorback with assault cannon and Stormbolter. In heavy support, got 2 Hellblaster squads, 5-man again with the standard plasma weapons there. As you can see, this list is built primarily from 2 Dark Imperium sets. Then I've got jump pack guys, Inceptors, and they've all got the Stormbolt, the assault bolters on there. So again, lots and lots of Dakka, which is going to be vital against these nids. And finishing the list off, got a Storm Raven gunship with the Skyhammer missiles and assault cannon. And there we go, that is 2,000 points of the Scythes of the Emperor.
Right, so here's my 2,000 points of Tyranids. Hopefully I'll manage to remember all my rules this time and get everything right. But wasn't too bad last time, just a few improvements to make. So it's a battalion and a spearhead, slightly changed up from last time. So starting off, I have my battalion, starting with my Warlord Hive Tyrant with Rending Claws, Monstrous Rending Claws, and 2 Devourers. His Warlord trait will be Synaptic Linchpin, giving him that 24-inch Fearless buff. And then he'll have Catalyst and the Horror as his powers. And he'll have the Chameleonic Skin, so you might want to hit him. We then have Swarmlord, because Swarmlord, and his powers will be Onslaught and Catalyst. Then we have to go to troops, so I've got 19 Termagants, purely because I ran out of points and I wanted one more, but yeah. 20 Genestealers, because who wouldn't take 20 Genestealers when you've got a Swarmlord? Another 20 Termagants, 3 Venom Thropes, because I thought if I don't get first turn it'll be useful to have them. And then 5 Raveners with Death Spitters. So that rounds out the battalion. So the spearhead, I've got another Flyer with Devourers and Monstrous Rending Claws again. And his powers will be the Horror and Psychic Scream, I think it is. Yeah, Psychic Scream and Horror. A brood of 3 carnifexes. All 3 of them have Spore Cysts. The 2 on the ends have double Scything Talons, but the one in the middle has a Stranglehold Cannon and Scything Talons. The 2 on the end have Adrenal Glands, where the one in the middle has Enhanced Senses. And I believe that's it. And then 2 Trygons, because Trygons. Interesting to see what I can do. Obviously that one's got the Biostatic Rattle on the tail, and that one the 2-Hail Pincer. So it should be interesting. Pretty monster heavy again, and I'm pretty happy to see what it does. So let's go on to the game.
So tonight's mission is Sealed Orders. So we get 6 objectives to start with, but can only draw new ones once we've been able to discard or score all of those. And the deployment is Hammer and Anvil, which, as much as I don't like actually playing it, does kind of work quite nicely for me, because I've got space to fall back into if necessary. Sam's pushed his entire force up right into the front of his army, with his most important units being covered by the Venom Thrups and the Carnifexes over on this side here. I'm still trying to work out how to deploy the Scythes for best effect, but got my captain central to give out as many buffs as possible, and then Dreadnoughts off to the side because they can also get the captain type ability for a phase for a command point. Got my Razorback over here with the Melter transported, the Melter Tactical Squad transported in there, and then my Storm Raven to the back because it's so fast it doesn't need to deploy far forward at all. The key units, the Hellblasters, are here and over at the back, and then my Inceptors are both in reserves looking to reinforce holes in the line or score targets of opportunity for objectives. Anyway, because I had a huge number of drops, Sam finished deploying well ahead of me, so we're going to roll for deployment. I roll for first turn. I got a 2, Sam got a 2, so he gets effectively a 3. Tyranids, turn 1, unless I can seize the initiative. No, initiative not seized. Here we go with Hive Fleet Krakens, first turn. So turn 1, and the Tyranids absolutely swarmed over me. Hive Fleet Kraken are just so fast, and through clever use of stratagems and stuff, Sam is right up in my face. His objectives were no prisoners, behind enemy lines, an area denial, assassinate, big game hunter, and swarm. Swarm being a Tyranid specific one that requires him to hold more objectives than me, which he thought he'd done until he realised that my lieutenant is actually standing right on top of an objective marker, so he hadn't quite done that. But yeah, Psychic Phase was Catalyst onto the Raveners, Gene Stealers, and Dominion Onslaught onto the Raveners, which allowed them to charge despite using the Kraken specific stratagem to run really fast. Shooting Phase was largely ineffective, plopped off a couple of intercessors and tried to put some wounds on the Razorback, but to no effect. But it was combat where things got nasty. The Gene Stealers charged into the intercessors at the front, and I thought I would be fine with the Hellblasters sitting behind, not likely to get got because of where the intercessors were. But unfortunately he was able to find a way round me. He was just way too close, and yeah, all my intercessors are gone and the majority of that Hellblaster squad. Raveners didn't have quite such good luck. They got into combat with these intercessors, but only actually killed one of them for a couple of wounds in return. So yeah, my captain's going to have something to say about that next turn, I think. But yeah, points-wise, he got no prisoners, obviously, for wiping out the intercessors. Behind enemy lines, because both these units are in my deployment zone. An area denial on the first turn is just not fair, because there's literally no way I could have done anything ever to prevent that. It was like a guarantee. D3 victory points for that. That's 2, so that gives him 5 in total with the first blood. And he's going to discard assassinate because my characters are pretty tough and really fairly well defended. But here we go with the Scythes of the Emperor's Counterpunch. Turn 1. So started my turn with secure 1 and 3, Blood and Guts, Emperor's Retribution, which is kill a unit that was holding, also capture an objective that your opponent was holding, and then Big Game Hunter and Master the Warp. But to be honest, I didn't really play the objectives as well as I should have done. I really focused on taking out the bugs in my deployment zone, and yeah, despite some slightly below average rolling, I did manage to eventually kill the Carnifex, mostly with the Razorback and Tactical Squad's melter guns, but it was finished off by the Hellblasters. And then the Gene Stealers almost all died to the combined fire of the Dreadnought, most of the Intercessor squads, the Inceptors, who'd appeared 9 inches back from them, the Storm Raven and Storm Talon and that Hellblaster squad. I hadn't been able to target the Raveners because they were locked in combat with my tactical squad, who couldn't fall. Sorry, Inceptor squad, who couldn't fall back because of the way the Raveners were positioned. They were encircling them, but I was able to pull these Hellblasters out of combat. And yeah, the Genestealers were left with just 4 dudes left, which would be great, except they're in Synapse range because he's got the Warlord trait that gives him an extra 6 inches. Oh, sorry, no, it's just a Hive Tyrant thing. He's just naturally got a longer Synapse. So they are not running away, which is a real pain because 4 Genestealers is still enough to deal with that tactical squad or that Hellblaster squad, or just generally ruin my day. It's also enough to hold that objective. Combat phase went pretty well. Hadn't been able to shoot the Raveners, but I charged 2 more Inceptor squads and also my captain in Gravis armour into there. The captain took 3 out straight off the bat, and then the Inceptors pulled down another couple, leaving, sorry, Intercessors pulled down another couple, leaving just the 1 there. But that's unfortunate because, for one thing, he passed his leadership test, but also Blood and Guts would have required me to actually kill the squad outright. So I didn't score that. Didn't grab that objective for Emperor's Retribution, and although I killed the Carnifex, he doesn't have enough wounds to count for Big Game Hunter. Did score objective 3 with my Lieutenant, but objective 1's over there, can't get that today. And I'll be discarding Master of the Warp. So only 1 point this turn, so not an ideal start, but I did kill most of his Vanguard. But I've now got Hive Tyrants and later Trygons to deal with, so yeah, this could get nasty. Right, so start of turn 2, Tyranids only holding 2 objectives, Swarm and Big Game Hunter. So he continued to push everything up, and the big arrival was the Trygon over there with the Termagants. They went to shoot the Dreadnought and one of the Primaris squads, but didn't really have a lot of luck, and most of his other shooting down here from the Hive Tyrants, the various Intercessor squads and tactical squads was saved. Oh, he brought on another Hive Tyrant over here in the middle from reserves as well. It was Assault where the damage was really done. Swarmlord got into this one of the squads here, wiped them out. The Genestealers got round the back into the Lieutenant and killed him. And this Hive Tyrant kicked over, or tried to kick over the Razorback, did 6 wounds, but it's still standing. Points wise, he got Swarm, which I believe is just worth 1 point. Because I'm not actually holding any objectives now, and he scored loads. Oh, and the Raveners, yes, the Raveners. The one surviving Ravener charged the Venerable Dreadnought. His intention was that that would soak up the las cannon Overwatch, and then the Trygon would get into combat. But unfortunately, the Ravener made the charge, that was fine, but the Trygon failed, and then the Dreadnought proceeded to kick the Ravener over. So yeah, not as good a turn as it could be, but discarding Big Game Hunter in the end means he gets 5 new objectives, and he's currently on 6 points already, so he's taking a bit of a lead points-wise. But I've got some troops here that are going to hopefully do some serious damage next turn. Hellblasters are eyeing up Swarmlord, and I've still got 1 unit of Aggressors to bring, Intercessors, Inceptors to bring on, and a lot to learn about my army apparently. But he still has another Trygon to bring on, so yeah, it's still anybody's game. So once again, my turn was all about clearing all these bugs out of my deployment zone. The one thing that didn't happen in my deployment zone was my second Inceptor unit coming down to grab me objective 1, which was one of my objectives, and they killed a Venom Thrup in the process. But over here, it was all about target priority, and priority was Swarmlord. Reduced him down to just 2 wounds with my shooting. Hellblasters didn't have a great time of it. They kind of didn't do a lot, but it was the Daka, the rate of fire, that got him down to just 2 wounds. And the melter guns here reduced the Carnifex to just 2 wounds. The Storm Raven, Storm Talon contributed to killing wounding Swarmlord, and the Razorback had to back out of combat, so couldn't shoot. And over here, the Apothecary and Inceptors finished off the Genestealers. Once again, my Venerable Dreadnought proved somewhat useless, hit Swarmlord but couldn't wound him, wounded him, but he had a 4-up invuln which he passed. Onto the combat phase, my Redemptor Dreadnought tried to charge the Carnifex to finish it off, but unfortunately failed. But the captain and both of these intercessor squads got into Swarmlord and did have to burn a command point to get it through, but the captain managed to take Swarmlord down with his Power Fist. Swarmlord used the Death Throw stratagem and killed 2 more intercessors who will need a leadership test at this point. That's fine. And need to do a leadership test for the Hellblasters because they lost a dude. That's fine. And my final bit of dice rolling is because I scored Emperor's Retribution, D3 victory points for claiming an objective that my opponent claimed last turn. That's objective 4, and that D3 is a 3, so that's worth 2 points. Excellent. Also grabbed Secure 1 and Blood and Guts and Big Game Hunter, as well as Slay the Warlord for Swarmlord. So bringing it back on points now, but there's still far too many big monsters in my deployment zone for my liking, and I think there's about to be another one. So Sam drew 5 new objectives this turn. Defend 1, Secure 4, Decapitate, Supremacy and Advance. So he stuck that Carnifex around there to hold that objective to secure him Supremacy, because he grabbed this one with the Trygon. So this guy popped up over here, shot the Intercessors with the Inceptors with the help of the Termagants, didn't do a lot with shooting, but then his charge wiped them out. These guys pushed up a little bit to midfield so they could possibly be a threat next turn and secure that objective were another objective capture to fail. And these guys swarmed across towards the 2 intercessor squads of my captain, while the Trygon sought out the Dreadnought and the Hive Tyrants pushed further forward. Shooting again didn't do a lot, but he did manage to finish off the tactical squad there with a combination of shooting and psychic powers. But it was really the assault where the damage was done. So, oh, and he killed a couple of guys from there. But yeah, the assault saw the loss of the Intercessor squad, Inceptor squad to the Trygon. The Trygon doing a bunch of damage to the Dreadnought, but not quite enough to kill it. The Apothecary was killed by this Trygon. These Inceptors were almost wiped out by this one. And yeah, generally things are just not looking good for the Marines right now. Points wise, he got Decapitate, Supremacy and Secure 4, and he's probably going to get Defend 1 next turn because I haven't got much that can deal with that. And yeah, there's just the number of monsters here, I just can't deal with them. But it's not over yet and we're going to die fighting. So my 3rd turn objectives are not looking good. 3 defends, which will be very hard to score with Tyranids up in my face already. Death from above is possible, and assassinate I thought I could do by maybe killing one of the tyrants. So my plan for death from above was to bring the Storm Talon round here and then shoot at the Carnifex. But unfortunately, terrible rolls to hit there and didn't do anything to it. I advanced the Razorback to get to objective 2, so at least I can possibly get defend that if I survive this turn. And then everything else sort of pulled out of its appropriate combats and targeted the Hive Tyrant in the middle, who's his Warlord, thinking I can get Assassinate and Slay the Warlord, but left it on 3 wounds left from my shooting, and then charged it with both my Captain and my Dreadnought, which should have been enough to do 3 wounds. But a combination of some poor hit rolls and some really good armour saves has left the Hive Tyrant very much alive, and it then did 11 wounds to the Redemptor Dreadnought. So yeah, things are not looking good. Points wise, I didn't actually score anything that turn, and I'm going to discard Defend Objective 5 because I'm not going to get near that anytime soon. But yeah, let's see what the nids can do on turn 4. So Tyranid turn started to feel like the beginning of mopping up time. The Hive Tyrants encircled my Dreadnought and Hellblasters and proceeded to wipe both of them out with a combination of shooting, psychic powers and finally assault. This Trygon came over here trying to threaten the Storm Talon, sorry, but was unable to do anything to it. And the Carnifex and Venomthrops went after this Razorback, again didn't do anything. But over here the Termagants left me with just 2 Intercessors left on the board, and the other Trygon killed my Venerable Dreadnought in combat. So yeah, things are going pretty nasty. Pulling this guy out of combat with my Warlord was probably a good idea for Sam, because meant I couldn't have another go at punching him and taking him down. Yeah, that was points wise. He got defend 5. No?
Scout the Skies.
Scout the Skies, sorry, was his score this turn, because he killed off the last Inceptor. And I actually got defend 2, because he wasn't able to dislodge this Razorback, which is just within 3 inches of that, according to when we measured it. It looks like it's been knocked a bit, but it definitely was, and it hasn't moved. So yeah, so things not looking too great for me, to be honest. He's 14-8 up on points, and I've only really got a flyer, a busted tank, and my captain left. But we'll give it another go, another turn, see how many of these bugs we can take down with us. So not much to do in my turn, but I did manage to take out the Venom Thrup with the Razorback, and then tried to finish off the Hive Tyrant with the Storm Talon to get me death from above, but it missed. And to take out the Hive Tyrant in the end, I had to charge him with my captain, who yeah, took down the Hive Tyrant in combat. He has been a beast today. I wish the rest of my army had performed like that captain. So that does get me Assassinate for an extra point, and we're going to roll on to the 5th and probably final Tyranid turn. Ouch, that was a nasty turn from the nids there. As you can see, I've basically got nothing left on the table. The turn against out one Primaris Marine with shooting and charged the other, and then everything else shot at my captain and left him on 2 wounds. He was charged by 2 Trygons and a Hive Tyrant. Only the Tyrant got in, but that was enough to take off his last wounds despite his invuln. And yeah, at that point there really is nothing I can do. I have 1 wounded Primaris Marine, a Razorback. My Razorback was wrecked by the Carnifex, and I've still got my Storm Talon, but I think he's thinking, yeah, I'm just going to get out of here now. So good game, mate, well done. Okay then, so a crushing victory for the Tyranids. Well done, Sam. You yeah, pretty much massacred me inside 5 turns, and by the end there was very little I could do. I suppose in my defence I could say that's kind of how it's supposed to end with Scythes of the Emperor versus Hive Fleet Kraken, isn't it? They eat me, but we'll be back for revenge, don't you worry. The Scythes will have their revenge. As for what went wrong, well, they say know your enemy, know yourself, and you need not fear the outcome of 1,000 battles. I believe that's Sun Tzu's Art of War, and I failed to do both. From the Tyranid side of things, I was a bit caught out by just how much ground those Gene Stealers and Raveners covered in the first turn. I should have expected a bit with the Gene Stealers, and I kind of knew they were going to get across the board very quickly, but right into my deployment zone on turn 1, and not just hitting my front lines, but being able to go round and hit the Hellblasters behind the Intercessors as well, was just like, whoa, okay, wasn't prepared for that. I thought, you know, I thought maybe he'd hit my Intercessors, but I didn't realise he'd get around the back, and the Raveners were equally quick and deadly, so yeah, that really caught me out. Loss of the Hellblasters early was not good, but also even just knowing my own army and being familiar with how it works, because yeah, I've not played them for a while, and I made a few big mistakes even as early as deployment. I pushed up a lot of my units into cover, sort of making that my main focus of just getting to cover, to get the boosted armor saves from shooting. But obviously against Tyranids that's not such a big deal, and I should have instead hung back a little bit further to make the assault harder for him, but also clustered around my lieutenant and my captain to give me those rerolls to hit, rerolls to wound, which would have allowed me to do a lot more damage, which would have then allowed me to not only do more damage but take less damage, because dead Tyranids don't fight very well. So yeah, that was a learning experience, I think we'll put that down to. But yeah, Sam certainly played well. He's been playing Tyranids, or sort of been back playing Hive Fleet Kraken, trying to perfect a list for a few weeks now, and it's working. You know, last time out against my Eldar, he had some terrible luck, and yeah, Eldar are good, what can I say? But yeah, today absolutely crushed it, so well done, mate. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I want you guys to let me know where you think I should take the Scythes of the Emperor next. You know, I'm still kind of having the Eldar as my main army, but want to get the Scythes of the Emperor up to be a good army. Now, I know Primaris aren't the strongest thing out there right now, but they are kind of the theme I've set myself for the army, and you know, they're not terrible. They're still 2 wound Space Marines with a 30-inch range AP 1 bolter, or AP -1 bolter as your standard dude, so there's certainly some strength there. But what do you guys think I should do with my Scythes next? You know, do I need to try different chapter tactics, maybe Raven Guard? Do I need to add a repulsor? I think it's a really cool model, but I think also it's going to be a massive bullet magnet. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.